Alright boys, what's happening? Welcome back to another episode of F1 2021 My Team. I feel like I've not said that for quite a while. We only did one episode last week. I was not well, did not feel up to commentating over a 30 to 40 minute video of a Grand Prix video. So unfortunately there was only one episode last week. If you did miss it, go back and watch it. Austrian Grand Prix was a very entertaining one. Big collision with Charles Leclerc and Pierre Gasly in that video. Make sure you go back and check out the previous episodes if you haven't already. If you are new around here, hit subscribe on the channel, turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. And if you are new around here, I don't know why you are new around here on this video, go back and watch the earlier episodes in this season so you can see where we're up to in this season so far. Go back and watch season 1. This is of course season 2. We are in Silverstone today, and yeah. So, vehicle comparison chart. We are the best car on the grid according to this chart, but as people may know, this chart can be very misleading. So, we are going to look at a rear downforce upgrade here. We don't go ahead and pick it up, I don't think. We only have 1,000 points in the bank. And I do believe we go ahead and pick up this brakes upgrade in the chassis department rather than the downforce one. Like I've mentioned in the previous videos, in the previous few videos, the brake upgrades are absolutely massive on this game because our car right now is so fast, it's so hard to slow the car down. So we do need those brake upgrades. Hopefully that comes through without failing. So getting into qualifying now, we are in quali 1. We've set our lap of a 127 flat, and that only put us P20. So we need to improve here on this next lap in Q1 if we do want to get through to Q2, and if we don't want to be at the back of the grid with the two has stinkers through turn 1. Completely cut the corner there, heading through now into turn 2 or 3. I don't even know what you want to call this one, but we get a nice little apex there, bring it back to the right. So we can swing it around left. Miss the apex a little, but it's okay because you come wide on the exit anyway. We can cut the curb on the inside a lot more than we did there. Down the Hanger Straight. No, this is the Wellington Straight, sorry, my bad. Heading into Brooklands. And now through into Luffield. We are 6/10 up on our previous lap, which is what you absolutely love to see. Now heading towards the infamous Cops Corner. Obviously infamous after that Verstappen and Hamilton crash this year. Can we take it flat out in this car? No, we come off the throttle. I still can't, like, you can take this flat out on the game, but I just can't hack it, bro. I really don't know how to take Cops flat out. I just can't get the line down to 7th gear and then into 6th through Maggots and Beckett's and Chapel as we come out. A nice little exit there through Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel. Probably the best I had in this qualifying session in terms of the exit out of there. You can run a lot wider than you do think through Stowe down into 6th gear. And we floored it nearly a whole second up on the Delta, braking just after the 100 metre board or just on the white line there on the floor. Bit wide on the exit there. Going to cost us a little bit of time as we come across the line. 7.5 tenths faster than our previous lap. And we set a 126.2, which puts us P15. And then we absolutely drop it and spin coming through turn 1 there on our second push lap. These tyres are going to be absolutely gone. We're into the gravel now. These tyres are gone. This lap is completely aborted. Lucky there's no cars on the track. Nobody to make a collision with. We're going to go ahead and... we'll not retire the car, but we're going to go ahead and retire from qualifying 1. At least Nico Rosberg there in P12. So he's through into Q2. Hopefully he can perform better than P12 come Q3 if he makes it there. But we do actually make it through into Q2. We finish P15 in Q1. Just ahead of George Russell in the Williams. So into Q2 now. Here is a lap on the screen. As you can see, we had a very slow out lap here. I think we spun on turn 1 on this lap. So we just went ahead as another like warm-up lap. Get a nice exit across the line though. Of course up on the Delta because the previous lap was terrible. Braking just as the curb starts there. You can see the gravel on the circuit there from where I've spun off. Down to 2nd gear. We hugged the apex a lot more than we did in Q1 now. Gets a nice exit, like I say, we come very wide. You can hug the inside curb a lot more there. You can actually completely cut that curb, which we didn't do there. Heading through Brooklands now, down to 4th gear for the rotation, and then into 3rd, just absolutely throwing the car around and hoping it sticks to the circuit as we come around now. A nice exit through Luffield, heading towards Stowe again. In the green, on the Delta. Can we improve through Cops? Can we go flat out? No, it's only a little lift this time. It was a little lift. A little, is that even a word? A smaller lift than the first time we went through Cops there. Bumping the curb on the way into Maggots, not what you love to see. but coming out of Maggots and Beckett's, we get a nice exit yet again, which shoots the delta completely flying up, and we are now 4 tenths faster than our previous lap, heading into Stowe. So coming around there, we do exceed track limits, which is unfortunate, and they should have wiped our time out, but you know what, there's no rules, you know what I mean. So 5 tenths quicker coming through the final corner. We're going to go take the shortest run to the line. It's pretty much right there as you come through the final corner anyway. And let's see where that puts us. Nico Rosberg in P7. Sergio Perez qualified on the medium tyres. Absolutely massive from Sergio to have the pace to do that. We do go out in P15 though. May as well not have even set the time, because that was the same position that we got in Q1. But hopefully Nico can have a good result in Q3 and set himself up for the race as we get into the rain in Silverstone.
Welcome along then to Great Britain and the great Silverstone Circuit for today's Grand Prix. Silverstone Circuit then. It's 3.6 miles long and has a total of 18 corners. And of course, is no stranger to the rain. There won't be any DRS available in these conditions, but the Wellington and Hangar Straights are still good opportunities to tuck into the slipstream and make a pass. Now, Anthony Davidson, I wonder, might we be in for some early pit stops today from the midfield teams, all trying to put some pressure on or disrupting things for the leaders up front?
If you're in the middle of the pack, you know, you got your own race to run, I don't think they're going to be thinking about causing trouble up front. However, closer to the head of the pack, don't be surprised to see some split strategies. If you're running second and third, for example, bringing one car in for an undercut while leaving the other one out there longer can put a lot of pressure on the leader and maybe force them into an error.
Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's race. Young superstar Max Verstappen starts from pole position, and Lando Norris lines up alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Perez, Bottas, Lewis Hamilton and Ricciardo, Rosberg, Sainz, Leclerc and Pierre Gasly, Fernando Alonso, Tsunoda, Sebastian Vettel and Ocon, the owner driver, Russell, Nicholas Latifi and Lance Stroll, Mick Schumacher, Giovinazzi, Mazepin and Daniel Ticktum. That's it then, it's time to go racing as we head to trackside for today's race.
So boys, Nico Rosberg qualifying in P7 there. We are 7-8 places behind them, nearly double the places behind them there. In P15, we're going to start the race on full wet tyres, but as you can see by the forecast at the top, it looks like it's going to start full wet for the first third of the session, then go into intermediate conditions, but then dry up and the sun will come out at the end of the session. So we are expecting a mad one here in Silverstone for strategy and for tyre choice. But it is 5 red lights and it is lights out and away we go. Can we get off the line to a good start? We have a little moment off the line there, nearly spin. Managed to catch the car. We lose about 4 or 5 places there though. Or 3 or 4, sorry. Just coming off the line there. Now we lose another 2, another 3 places. Dan Ticktum and Mick Schumacher trying to take up a place there, and Antonio Giovinazzi, but we go around the outside there and we look to make that place back, and we go up the inside of George Russell like Fernando Alonso did this year, but George Russell pushes us off the track completely as if we weren't even there. We struggle to get back on and get some traction there. Giovinazzi flies past now and we are stuck behind Mick Schumacher, so nice one for that George Russell, mate. I tried to take the same line that Fernando Alonso did this year in Silverstone. He made up a lot of places taking that line, if you do remember, in the Silverstone race in real life. And obviously, as I've tried to take that line, George Russell completely just didn't acknowledge us there and left us no space whatsoever. So, we are in P20. We were P15 on the grid. There are only 2 cars behind us, and they absolutely stink. They go by the name of Dan Ticktum and Nikita Mazepin. So, we checked the weather there. Jeff says the rain's getting a bit lighter. It's hard to say whether Inter's all wet or the right tyre for now, so I know that it's going to start getting towards intermediate conditions soon. Sergio Perez there comes into the pit for intermediate tyres. Remember, obviously Sergio Perez qualified on the medium tyres in Q2. This guy's got a lot of pace around Silverstone by the looks of things. Mick Schumacher though, is 5 seconds ahead of us now, boys. We just couldn't keep up with Mick, even though he's in the Williams, in the rain. You know, if you've watched this season so far and season 1, I'm not the best driver in the rain. And especially around Silverstone, the AI is so good around Silverstone, and in the rain as well. It's as if it's not even raining for these guys. So Mick is 5.4 seconds ahead of us. We're going to need a miracle drive if we want to get into the points here today, or even like go for higher than the points, you know. And now we have Dan Ticktum trying to make a move on us. I don't even know what happened to the car there. Little bit of contact with Dan Ticktum's rear tyre there. Heading towards Cobb's Corner. Are we going to see a repeat of Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton this year? And it's going to be with Dan Ticktum. Who else would it be with if it was going to be anyone to cause a collision with Dan Ticktum? We're heading towards Cobb's now. And as we come round, we do come out in front of Dan Ticktum. He does back out there. He was on the inside heading into Cobb's, but Ticktum does back out. And we do gain a place back up into P19. And obviously Sergio Perez, who did pit early for the Inters. I think that's a bad move from Sergio. Even though we're going all over the place on these wets, it does not look like intermediate conditions to me right now, at least on the track. And obviously now Mazepin is trying to make a move on us, and we're not having it. But we do decide to box this lap. I don't know if we do actually go in. We checked the weather report here though, and yeah, we do actually decide to box here because we do check the weather report, and Jeff says inters and wets are the same speed right now. So we think obviously by the time we come into the pit, get our pit stop done in the longest pit lane I've ever seen in my entire life in Silverstone, by the way. By the time we have our pit stop go out, it will be probably intermediate conditions on the track, because like I say, it's like a 40-second pit stop here in Silverstone, and you can see the majority of the grid have came in now for Inters as well, and everyone who stayed out will come in next lap for Inters, including our teammate Nico Rosberg, who did qualify in P7. Not sure whereabouts he is now on the grid in the race. It looks like he is up in about P5 though, by the looks of things, in the bottom left hand side of the screen on the map. So absolutely massive from Nico. We're obviously still waiting for Nico's phase. Massive point haul for us. I mean, he's got P4 a few times, but I'm talking a podium. And you can see that Nico does come into the pit on the next lap. We are in P21 currently. We overtake Mazepin in the pits there, back into P20. Now Antonio Giovinazzi is in front of us, 4.3 seconds ahead. Lando Norris is out of the session. Poor little Lando. He just can't hack the rain, can he? You know, poor Lando, obviously in the Russian Grand Prix last weekend. Wow, I said last weekend because I said Grand Prix. Russian Grand Prix last weekend. Yeah, let me never do that again. Obviously, you know what happened in the Russian Grand Prix. Sorry, Lando. Don't want to bring it up again, mate, in case you're watching this video, which is highly likely because I make the best F1 content on YouTube. But anyway, yeah, Lando, he's gone off there. Engine failure in the rain. Obviously spun off in the rain in Russia, brought up the virtual safety car, which didn't really help us much at all. And now we are 2 seconds behind Mick Schumacher in P18. I don't know who is behind us. Obviously the two hazards, and then Lando's retired. That's the cars behind us. So we have another yellow flag here in front of us as we head into the Vale and Club chicane. And as we come through there, we see Lance Stroll completely facing the other way. Let's see what happened to Lance as he comes through the Vale and Club chicane. Just absolutely floors the throttle and spins his car, does a whole 180. You see Sonoda go past him there, a Williams, two Alphas, the other Williams, and then of course us coming past him there. Let's see another replay of that. Poor from Lance Stroll. This guy is experienced and good enough to not do mistakes like that. That is very poor from Lance right there. So we overtake Lance, and now we are up into P18. I'm trying to climb back to that P15 spot that we did start the race in. If we could get there from our start and our first few laps, if we can get back to P15, it would be a miracle. We checked the weather report there. Jeff says that there's 10 minutes left of the rain, so that's about 5 laps around Silverstone, so we know that towards the end of the race it should start to dry up a little, or towards the middle of the race actually, if we go off that 5 lap idea that we do have in our head. As Sergio Perez, Bottas, Lewis Hamilton all setting fastest lap, so of course the track does seem to be drying up a little. We're going green in our sectors, and we are closing the gap to Mick Schumacher. You see it's 1 second. We have a great drive so far to close that gap to Mick Schumacher on the full wets. I just couldn't hack it. On the intermediates there was a lot more grip, and I was just really enjoying the race a lot more. On these inters, Lance Stroll has a 5-second penalty, by the way. We go purple in sector 3. We heard Jeff on the radio just a minute ago saying you're doing very well out there. 5 minutes left of the rain still, so we are now within DRS range of Mick Schumacher, but of course, look at the weather, there is no DRS active, so overtaking is just that little bit more difficult. We're going to use a lot of ERS here and in the slipstream of Mick Schumacher. Can we send one down into Stowe? No, we can't. We're going to back out there. That was the right thing to do. Would have caused a collision if we tried to send it from that far downtown. We're not Steph Curry. We can't hit them from that far downtown. Hitting into the Vale and Club chicane now. And you see Mick Schumacher just pulling ahead as we come out of there. We had a little moment on the exit of the Vale and Club chicane. And now he's up into 8 tenths ahead, and it was just so hard to try and overtake, especially with no DRS. And now we've closed the gap again, but a lot later on lap 15 here to Mick Schumacher. We've closed the gap to like 5 tenths. It was 2 tenths before we went through what's it called, bro? Cops. Through Maggotts and Beckett's though. We're going to have a nice line coming out of Maggotts and Beckett's down to 4th gear, and then we get a nice exit there. So we're going to close the gap using our ERS down the hanger straight. Slipstream ERS, can we send one down the inside on Stowe again? No, we're going to tuck in behind him and hopefully make a move into the Vale Club chicane. We get a great exit out of Stowe there, absolutely slingshot round, and we're going to send it from downtown now up the inside, bump the curb a little, but Mick Schumacher, great driving from him. And by great driving I mean just regular standard driving, but the AI on this game is so crazy. I was fully expecting Mick to turn into us there. Now a few people have came into the pits there. Vettel and Ocon have come into the pits for another set of inters, going for a 2-stop on intermediate tyres. They will take them to the end of the race. We decided to stay out because I'm thinking to myself, the rain is going to stop in a few laps time, Jeff said. So maybe and obviously in the weather forecast it said the sun would come out, so I'm thinking to myself, it's going to be time for slicks sometime in this race before in the last 10 laps. We're going to have to move on to slicks, so boxing now for another set of intermediate tyres would be suicide, at least the way I was looking at it. And I checked the cameras here, as you can see, of the other cars in the pit lane, and they did box for intermediate tyres as well. We had Giovinazzi, we had George Russell, Charles Leclerc I think, and also one of the AlphaTauri cars came in for another set of inters. But I really want to stay out and wait for that slick window. Coming through turn 1, we come out in front of Fernando Alonso and in front of a few other people who did pit behind us. And now Mick Schumacher and Alonso are going to battle behind us. Schumacher and Alonso battling. I never thought I'd say that on this game. But Mick Schumacher comes out ahead by the looks of things as we head down a bit later in the lap. And Alonso has made a pass on Schumacher. We are closing on Nicholas Latifi and now Nico Rosberg. Our teammate Nico comes into the pits, and I believe we do check in a moment what tyres Nico did go on to. We've just got to wait a little for him to reach our pit box because it's so far down the pit lane, and the pit lane is so slow in Silverstone, so we have to wait a little. But we will check right now, or not right now, but or maybe I did. Maybe that's what that little jump cut was there. I think we checked what tyres he was going on to. Nico went on to intermediate tyres as well. Now, Nicholas Latifi, in a bit, son, you've been had on toast there. We've sent down the inside, similar to, or pretty much exactly the same as the move on Mick Schumacher that we did pull into the Vale Club chicane. Yuki Tsunoda in the pits for intermediate tyres as well. Here's a replay, I do think, of that move on Nicholas Latifi. We have Alonso so close behind us. I didn't realise how close Alonso was behind us as we head towards Vale Club. And we are just going to send it down the inside of Latifi. Very easy, nice move there. He did try and defend it a little, but it's Nicholas Latifi. You can't defend against me, mate. You absolutely stink at, I was going to say at this game, but not this game. You stink at driving, mate. Even though you're better than me, but... Or is he? Let me 1v1 Nicholas Latifi in an F1 car, and I will beat him. I won't really, but I just want a chance to drive an F1 car, you know. Anyway, up into P10. We're in the points, but can we last... in the points on these tyres? Nico Rosberg in P8, lost a place from the start. Don't know what's going on with the strategy of Nico or the people in front of him. So is he going to finish P8? Who knows? We'll have to see at the end of the race. Anyway, the track is looking a lot drier now. You can see here there's literally no rain on the screen as we head down into Stowe. And Fernando Alonso goes up the inside there. We give him a lot of space. We go wide because we're trying to give Alonso space like a good racer would. And Alonso does make the overtake. Can we send it down the inside in Vale Club? We're going to go down the inside again, but Alonso, that's just a good driver, bro. That's what Mick Schumacher and Latifi should have done there. You see, we did the exact same move on Alonso, but Alonso came out ahead. So much respect for Fernando Alonso. So we've just checked with Jeff, and he said no rain expected for the time being. So this rain right now and the wetness right now of the track is all it's going to be. It's not going to get any worse. It can only get better from here. We have 7 laps left in the race. Can we catch Fernando Alonso? Can we get into the points? Pierre Gasly is nearly 10 seconds ahead of Alonso. So it looks like P10 is the highest we could finish in this race right now, if we can catch and overtake Alonso, of course. And if these tyres last us to the end of the race, we have Seb Vettel behind us, 2 tenths behind, heading into Maggots and Beckett. Coming through Maggots and Beckett, you can see there's hardly any rain coming out of it though. In Chapel, the rain does pick up a little. You can see the specs on the screen, but like I was saying anyway, Seb Vettel behind us on fresher intermediate tyres, and Valtteri Bottas setting a new fastest lap. Is Vettel going to have a look into Stowe? No, he's not. He's going to tuck him behind. But Vettel and Ocon on fresher intermediate. We do have the racing line telling us to box, but like I said, I didn't want to box for Inters. If I was going to box this race, it was going to be for slicks. I did not want to come in for another set of intermediate tyres. It is costing us though. You can see obviously Alonso has pulled away a 2-second gap. We're going red in all of the sectors. Tyres are completely done. But like I said, boys, I didn't want to box for slicks. I mean, for Inters, I wanted to box for slicks, if anything. Now, very similar to Russia in real life. I was driving around the track, and in certain parts, the rain would be on. But in certain parts, it'd be completely dry. Well, not dry. The track was still wet, but there'd be no rain coming down. But in certain parts of the track, there was rain. So it made it very difficult in terms of whether I should box or not. Little bit of contact there with Sebastian Vettel. Jeff there just saying he doesn't think we have cause to move on to a different tyre yet, but the situation is not perfect, and I agree. Coming through Copse, little bit of rain coming through the start of Maggots and Beckett down, and the rain goes off, and then into Chapel the rain comes back on. It was very weird, very bizarre weather. And I know in the sectors where the rain is coming down still, we would really struggle on slick tyres, but in those sectors of the track where the rain was off completely, then we would be absolutely flying. And coming through the final few corners now, you can see in the Vale Club chicane again. It was just such a difficult situation, boys, and I really had to make a good racing call whether to come in to the box. Now, obviously, we're sat in P11. I wish we could bring up the tyre wear. I didn't actually bring up the tyre wear in the MFD, so I don't even know how tired these intermediate tyres were. But we have 5 laps remaining now, or 6 if you include the lap that we're currently on, lap 21 out of 26. Are we going to be able to make it to the end of the race on these tyres? We do have Sebastian Vettel behind us, who is attacking us. Esteban Ocon behind him, who's closing the gap. The gap to Alonso in front is increasing massively. P11 is looking like the only place we can finish right now, especially on this set of tyres. Red through Sector 1 yet again. Sebastian Vettel, he's hunting us down, boys. He's hunting us down after that little bit of contact earlier on as well. He's going to be not happy. He wants to make an overtake on us, get us cleared. Will probably cost him, Sebastian, his whole race here, because he has a lot more pace than of course we did. So we're costing Sebastian a lot here by keeping him behind. Into Maggots and Beckett now, bumping the curb a little, and again, it's just looking at certain parts of the track. There's no rain on the screen, but then in other parts there is rain on the screen. Now Max Verstappen does go ahead and set a new fastest lap there, and as we come through into Stowe, I decided to change in the MFD to soft tyres, just to prep for when we do box. And look at that perfect timing. Race control has enabled DRS as we come through Stowe there. You can see that there's no rain on the screen through Stowe, but through Maggots and Beckett there was rain, which is literally 1 corner behind, so it was crazy. The weather was wild, but with DRS enabling, race control enabling DRS, I decided to come in for soft tyres. Is this going to be a strategic masterclass? Is this going to be the best call you've ever seen? I literally just changed it on the MFD because I was prepping for boxing for soft, in the next few laps. And then obviously race control enabling DRS made me pull the trigger. We come out of the pits in P18. Mick Schumacher in front of us. Now let's see, are the soft tyres the tyres to be on? We've almost had a skid on the first corner. Coming through the second corner on these soft tyres, you can just see how much we are fighting the car, and again, we're having to fight the car so much. These soft tyres right now are not the one. This lap right here, or at least the first few corners coming out of the pits. These soft tyres felt like an absolutely terrible strategic plan. But through here, you can see there is no rain whatsoever. And we're going to have so much grip on the track. There's no specks of rain on the screen at all coming down. And then heading towards Copse Corner. You can see we are going to try and close this gap on Mick Schumacher. We were sat in P11 comfortably. Well, not comfortably because we had Vettel behind us. But have we just threw away 7 places there and completely bottled the race? Are we going to finish P18 lower than where we did qualify on the grid coming through Stowe? We get a decent little exit there. The soft tyres just have so much more grip right now than the intermediate tyres, especially later on in the lap. The rain has cleared up a lot more again. The track is starting to dry up a lot more. Like Jeff said before, there's no new rain. We go purple in Sector 3, close the gap to Mick Schumacher to be within DRS range. Of course, DRS is active even though there is a little bit of rain still coming down, but race control thought that obviously it's dry enough to have DRS. We don't send it down the inside on Schumacher there because we know from lap 1 that the AI are crazy and they will just cut you off. So heading down the Wellington Straight, we're going to get DRS on Mick Schumacher, make a move up the outside, heading into Brooklands, purple in Sector 1 there. Coming through Brooklands now, we do have George Russell in front, 5.5 seconds ahead in front of us, but purple in Sector 1. The soft tyres seem to be alive right now on this lap right here. And just look at the split times in the top left. To George, it was 5.8 seconds ago, like 2 corners. I mean, it was 5.8 seconds literally like 2 corners ago. Now it's down to 5, heading through Maggotts and Beckett's. Oh boys, I'm really not well, you know. Still, I don't know if you can tell. You probably can't tell by my voice, so I'm getting all stumbled on my words and that. But anyway, we're closing in on George Russell, purple through Sector 2, absolutely flying here on these soft tyres. We might have made the right call here. George and Antonio very close to each other. So if we catch one, we should catch the other realistically. Coming through the Vale and Club chicane, we can actually see the cars on the screen now just in front of us. And as we come through the final corner, sliding a little bit on these soft tyres, but the slide actually helped us through the final few corners there. We set a new fastest lap, 132.08. Very, very quick lap as we throw the car through turn 1. And the gap to George Russell is now 1.5 seconds. And Latifi is there and Antonio just in front of those two. Antonio's made a pass on Nicholas Latifi. And just look how close we are now. We have caught up to George Russell. We're going to overtake George Russell on the inside there. We don't get the DRS, unfortunately. But we're still going to be faster than Nicholas Latifi, I do think. And there's going to be a yellow flag in front of us as well. We almost made contact there with Nicholas Latifi heading into Brooklands. And coming through, I think this is Yuki Tsunoda. It might be Pierre Gasly, I'm sure. Yuki and Pierre both wear a red helmet. No, of course, that is Yuki Tsunoda. I saw number 22 on his halo there. Yuki Tsunoda is out of the session, which is massive. That is going to be another place in front that we are going to gain as we go around the outside of Nicholas Latifi up into P15, and we're going to overtake Yuki Tsunoda up into P14. We have now made back the places that we lost from the start, +1. Obviously, we qualified P15, we're up into P14. Purple through Sector 1 yet again. Now we're chasing down Antonio Giovinazzi. 3 laps left in the race here, or 2.5 if you include this one, through Maggotts and Beckett's. Absolutely sliding everywhere on the soft tyres, but a good slide. Like I say, look at the speed compared to Antonio. Floor it on the throttle. We have to brake there because Antonio was going to cause a collision. We get DRS, fly past Antonio very easily. Now the next target in sight is the man, or the 2 men that we did box, who were like bloody hell boys, I can't speak. We did box while these 2 men were behind us, Vettel and Ocon. Now the gap to Ocon as we come through the last corner is 19 seconds. We have 2 laps to make up 19 seconds. We're going to need an absolute blinder of a drive as we set another new fastest lap, 131.8. Can we make up 19 seconds in 2 laps? That is the question. That is the big question. We finished the first lap and we have cut out a good like 6 seconds on Ocon. So with this pace, we need to go double our pace if we want to overtake Ocon, because obviously we've just improved by 6 seconds on Ocon there, but he is 12 seconds ahead. So we do need a miracle to happen as we head through lap 26 of 26. Max Verstappen taking the checkered flag, and like I said, we were 6 seconds faster than the cars in front of us, boys. 1 more lap and we could have been on for an absolutely amazing race, but obviously heading through Vale and Club chicane, Ocon 6 seconds ahead. He's going to cross the line there, and the checkered flag comes out. 5.4 seconds behind Esteban Ocon as we cross the line. Very unfortunate, but after the start and the first lap of the race and the first few laps getting stuck behind Mick Schumacher pulling away, we will take that as a finish. P13, I do think Antonio Giovinazzi getting driver of the day there. Big win for Red Bull in the Constructors and the Drivers' Championship. Max Verstappen taking the checkered flag there. Lewis Hamilton in P3. And I believe Sergio Perez in P2 as well. Perez obviously showing he had a lot of pace around Silverstone in qualifying. So big result for Red Bull, and we'll check in a moment the standings of the drivers and constructors and see where that does put them. There you can see Perez in P2 and of course Lewis in P3. So Max taking another dub there. We did take fastest lap of the race though, so that takes off a point from anyone in the top 10 because we did finish outside the top 10. We obviously still don't get a point for the fastest lap of the race. I believe we went fastest again on the final lap of the race. Maybe if we went, I was going to say if we pit one lap earlier for the softs, but like when you saw when we came out on the softs, it was perfect timing really, because the first few corners on the softs were impossible, but the lap after that, softs were definitely the best tyre on the grid to use. It was just unfortunate. If we had one or two more laps in that race, we could have had a sick finish. Nico Rosberg losing one place from the start to Carlos Sainz, finishing in P8. We are up from P15 into P13 with the fastest lap of the race. Significantly fastest lap of the race. 127.8, outrageous pace compared to the intermediate tyres. But yeah, man, that is going to be it for the Silverstone Grand Prix. You can see the grid on the screen, the final grid. Daniel Ricciardo in P4. Shout out to Daniel. We will get into the standings right now. And you can see we are still top of the drivers, just about 4 points ahead of Max Verstappen. 18 points ahead of Bottas and Leclerc, who are tied for third place in the drivers at the moment. And then we'll go over and check the constructors' standings, and Red Bull have overtaken us by 12 points, getting a 1-2 in Silverstone. Massive point haul for Red Bull. They have overtaken us. We need obviously Nico to start pulling his finger out, you know, and getting some big points for the team if we do want to compete for the constructors this year, which we should do. We do have the best car on the grid according to the chart. We get a downforce upgrade there. That's only going to further put us ahead on the chart. We go ahead and pick up a rear downforce upgrade, but we do cancel it and then decide to rush the upgrade so we can try and get it before Hungary, because of course downforce in Hungary is the key part of your car. We cancel the front downforce upgrade as well and rush that one to try and get it in before Hungary, and then we go ahead and advance in the calendar. Our tyre blanket tyre wear upgrade has failed in the R&D tree in the chassis section, so we go ahead and restart that, and luckily that will come in before the Hungarian Grand Prix as well. Massive upgrade to get there. We get an engine upgrade through chassis activity, weekly resources, a lot of money coming in there. Our two downforce upgrades and the tyre wear upgrade come through before Hungary without fail. You love to see it. We're going to have a fantastic car heading into Hungary now. Our aero department is fully maxed out for our current spec level. Once the brake upgrade comes through, our chassis department is also fully maxed out for the spec level. The engine we'll go across to now. As you can see, we have 2 upgrades left in the fuel efficiency, and then we are fully maxed out for the facility spec level. And then the durability, we have like about 6 upgrades. I think we need like 1 upgrade on each component, and then we are maxed out in the durability section as well. But boys, that is going to be it for this video. I am really not well, but I wanted to bring you another F1 video. It's been a while since we did have one. We've also started a Creator Club career mode series on FIFA, so if anyone's interested in that, go ahead and check out the first episode that is up on the channel right now. We made AFC Liverpool, which 3 of my mates play for in real life, so go ahead and watch that video. We created our mates in FIFA, started a career mode. But anyway, if you don't care about FIFA, you only care about Formula 1, hit like on this video, 10 likes for the next episode. You know the vibes already. If you did enjoy the video, like, comment, share, subscribe. You know the vibes. I'll catch you next time. Take it easy, people.